Welcome to Top 10 Get Fit. Warning: be sure to consult with a physician before beginning this or any other fitness program. Before trying to do this exercise, we recommend you watch the video all the way through. The push-up is one of the best exercises for your upper body. In fact, it's a great exercise for your entire body. You use almost every muscle in your body, from your legs to your butt to the muscles in your back for stability and stabilization, but primarily it works both the chest and the triceps. So this makes it a great exercise for men and women, because these are two areas that both men and women want to build. Here's a look at one of our anatomy photos so you can see exactly where the chest muscle is located. Okay, let's look at the starting position. First, we're going to look at how you set up your upper body. You want to place your hands outside and even with your shoulders. Now let's take a look at how you're going to set up your lower body, your legs. For the classic push-up, you want your feet shoulder width apart and you want to be on the balls of your feet. Now last, let's look at the third important area, your hips. Notice here in the picture how the butt is slightly up. This is on purpose because what happens is you get tired as you tend to sag your hips. So we found over time if you start out this position, you actually end up doing them the correct way. So it's a little bit of an overcompensation for correct movement. If you're a push-up expert, your starting position can look like this. You can have your hips level with the rest of your body, but just make sure that your hips don't sag as you start to force out your last few reps in your set. Okay, let's take a look at the exercise now. To begin with, just look at a few reps so you can take in the basic motion of the exercise. As you're watching, I want to talk a little bit about breathing for the push-up. As you raise your body up, you exhale. As you lower, you inhale. So that's the pattern you want to do throughout the entire exercise. Exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. As you look at the movement, it's pretty simple. You're raising your body off the ground and then lowering it back. And the main thing here is you want to keep your body in alignment. You don't want your hips to sag or you don't want your butt to raise too far up in the air. This is an important alternative starting position that a lot of people need to begin with before they get enough strength to actually do a normal push-up, and this is the push-up on the knees. And the important thing to remember here is that you're not really on the knees. That's what it's called, but don't really pay attention to that word. You're really on the muscles just above the knees. So that's where you're going to have the pressure of your body weight. Otherwise, you can hurt your knees if you're actually on your knees. All right, let's take a closer look now at this movement with some training tips. Now we're going to look at this exercise in more detail. One of the most common mistakes is sagging your hips. You probably see this at the gym all the time. Look at this video clip and you see how the hips are sagged throughout the range of motion. What you want to do is you want to have your hips level or slightly raised, as we talked about earlier. Here's proper position for the hips during the exercise. One way to prevent sagging, and an important technique to do throughout the entire push-up exercise, is to activate your core muscles. And the easiest way to do this is think of bringing your belly button towards your spine. This will activate that entire area, and not only will you be getting a great workout for your chest and your arms, but also your core. Another common mistake is head position, not having your head aligned with your spine. Here you can see the head is looking up. This puts stress on the neck. And here's the opposite situation where the head is looking too far down, looking back at your feet. Now here's an example of proper alignment. You see that the head is aligned with the spine and looking straight down at the mat. This way, if your gaze is straight down at the mat and not back towards your feet or up to the ceiling, your head is going to be in proper alignment. All right, let's look at range of motion. Like every exercise, range of motion is important. With the push-up, you'll see a lot of people, especially at the gym, where they just go through a limited range of motion. They're really just doing half a push-up, and this way they can say, oh, I can do 100 push-ups. You really want to go all the way down so your chest and arms are going through a full range of motion. This means your chest almost touches the ground and you come up to a position just shy of your arms locking out. So this is a pretty big range of motion. And the same is true even if you're on your knees. The last thing I want to talk about with range of motion is locking and unlocking the elbow. As you can see in this photo, the elbow is locked. Now it's unlocked. So it's very subtle. But when you're doing a push-up, you don't want to lock your arms out at the top because that takes all the pressure off the chest and the triceps. So it's very subtle, but as you come up to the finished position, come up just shy of locking out. As you can see in these two photos, it's like a 1/2 inch difference. But as you really try to master this move, it's an important thing to be aware of. Before we begin to review the key points of this exercise, I want to talk about one more thing, and that is the alignment of the elbow and the wrist. You want your elbow aligned directly above the wrist, as you see in this photo and as you watch in this video clip. So take a couple of moments to get a view of the proper relationship between the elbow and the wrist on a push-up. An important element with the movement of a push-up is that you're pushing your body almost directly up, not back towards your knees. And this is a common mistake you'll often see, is you'll see someone pushing back as opposed to up, or they're pushing back at about a 45-degree angle. Okay, let's review. 1. Keep your body in a straight line. 2. Keep your inner core activated, which means bring your belly button to your spine. Go through a full range of motion and move straight up and down. If you do these key elements, you'll be a master of the push-up and you'll get the best results in the least amount of time. All right, train hard, train smart. For more workouts and information, go to top10getfit.com.